things, everything. And before we get into it, I apologize for the late delay. Took me a minute to get in, had some technical difficulties, but I'm here now. And before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like button and ring that notification bell and make sure to subscribe, as it would really help the channel grow. Now, on this sorry, apologies, I'm a little out of sorts. But on this episode, we're going to discuss Lizzo, abuser, fat shamer. We are about to find out. Now, the other day, I did do a live stream discussing the situation with Lizzo, but I had some technical difficulties, so I wanted to start over again, and also some new updates came out, so I'd figure it would be appropriate for us to get back into it. And this is some wild stuff going on here with Lizzo. And I think it's safe to say that I don't think she's going to be able to recover from all this damage that she has inflicted upon herself and to the countless fans, supporters. I mean, it's honestly, it's actually irreprehensible what she has essentially has done and behaved as. And I think for many people out there, they're gonna realize that this whole, as I like to put it right now, Marxist body positivity, it's not going to end well. You know, the degradation that she has displayed and behaved in such a manner is, it's just disgusting, and it's shameful, and it's it's no surprise that this type of stuff is coming out about her. And I think, many of us, we become, not many of us, but I think people who have drunk the Marxist Kool-Aid, you're seeing the consequences of that right now. And, the whole agenda movement and pushing all sorts of, just unethical behavior and, deplorable stuff. It's all part of the plan. But I think this situation with Lizzo, it's part of a more deep-rooted issue that we're seeing in our society, where because of such, Marxist ideologies, socialist ideologies, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you how you want to describe it. It's no surprise that we're seeing the ramifications of that. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the left and other organizations and movements and groups try to spin this whole thing with Lizzo. Because I think for many of us out there, we are very, especially those of us who are, people who advocate for freedom of thought, freedom of individuality, all of those fun jazz. We are very aware that this stuff needs to end. That there needs to be some form of recourse, and I guess you could say reorganization of our society. And I see that we have some people in the live stream. Please hit that like button, as it would be greatly appreciated. I really appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to come hang out with me. And without further ado, let's get into this article, as I have talked enough. Alrighty. Alrighty. Lizzo is sued by ex-dancers Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, Noel Rodriguez, who claim they were sexually harassed and forced, and she forced them to perform sex acts with bananas in strip club. Oh boy. Well, I was not aware that, Lizzo was prone to eating fruits and vegetables, but I guess we're all going to be surprised by everything that's revealed in this lawsuit. So this is by Claudia O'Hara, senior reporter at dailymail.com. Lizzo has been sued by 3 of her former backup dancers who accused the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. The pop star, whose real name is Melissa Vivian Jefferson, faces the legal battle after the dancers alleged she commented on their weight and pressured one to touch a nude performer in a strip club. She was commenting on their weight. All right. Strap yourselves in. The plaintiffs, her former dancers, are named in the lawsuit as Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez. Williams and Davis both appeared on the recent Amazon Prime reality show Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, about the singer's quest to find backup dancers. That is not a very flattering photo. It accused the famous singer of inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers inside the Amsterdam strip club, the suit states. She allegedly encouraged catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas and eating bananas protruding from the performers' coochies. Good Lord. Now, I think for many people out there, that I think we can clearly state that that's sexual assault and harassment and grooming. I mean, and don't worry, I got audio, an audio interview of her making these. We'll get to that. Oh boy. So here we have the lawsuit. We got a hostile work environment, sexual harassment, failed to prevent or remedy hostile harassment, religious harassment. Well, we'll get into all of that. All right. The About Damn Time singer, 35, is known for her gregarious body positivity. That's one way of putting it. But the lawsuit paints her in a much different light. Ron Zambrono, the woman's lawyer, said in the suit, revealed first by NBC News, The stunning nature of how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers seems to go against everything Lizzo stands for publicly. While privately she weight shames her dancers and demeans them in the ways that are not only illegal but absolutely demoralizing. Now, I'm going to preface this. I'm not someone who is like outright, against people who are overweight or obese. I myself, I still got a little bit of chunky monkey left to get rid of. But I do not support or agree with anything that comes with body positivity, because this is not body positivity. What Lizzo advocates for, with any of people who are in her atmosphere advocate for, that's not body positivity. All right, that's not body positivity is when an individual who has second or third degree burns is finally able to feel comfortable with themselves and maybe start doing some performances, or maybe they've always wanted to be a dancer, whatever it could be. Tongue in cheek with that one. But, that's body positivity. I recently saw a video with a woman who had to get her entire nose removed due to cancer. And she had choices of, getting a fake nose. But she chose to embrace who she is now. That's true body positivity. There are countless stories of people who have been, severely wounded, disfigured, whether from birth, whatever it may be. And they are able to overcome the bullying, the harassment, the negativity, and they're able to embrace themselves. That's true body positivity. The whole thing that, Lizzo has been pushing, that's not body positivity. That's abuse. That's really abuse of your own body and your mental health. But I'm not here to tell people how to live their lives. I have every right to express my opinions, and I will express my opinions. And it would be foolish for me to say that I haven't dated chunky monkeys myself, which I have. And I have nothing against anything like that. But even with women that I have engaged with, and I have said to them, if you want to engage in a long-term relationship, you're going to have to start getting in shape, just as I am, being active, working towards having that longevity. Recently, my cousin was reaching out to me about wanting to get into yoga because he's realizing that he's losing his mobility. He's becoming stiff. And I've been trying to get him into yoga for like almost 4 years now. And he was very much like me before I got into yoga. And ironically, it was a woman that actually convinced me to get into yoga. So all I'm saying here is like, what she's advocating for is unhealthy lifestyles. And it ties into this whole, the whole color revolution that we're seeing going on in this world. That's why I called it earlier Marxist positivity, because that's kind of really what it is. But in the end, if they get their way, individuals like herself would be on the lineup for the firing squad, just as well as I would be, since I advocate for freedom of thought and individuality and consent and all that fun jazz. Things that are, that come with our birthright as humans. But enough of the Ronin rant. Let's get back to the article. Lizzo is not the only named defendant in the case, which was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court on Tuesday. Her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, is also facing a slew of accusations. Quigley, according to the lawsuit, shared lewd sexual fantasies and publicly discussed the virginity of one of the plaintiffs while berating those who had premarital sex. The complaints for the damages include hostile work environment, sexual harassment, religious harassment, racial harassment, disability discrimination, and failure to prevent or remedy the harassment. Lizzo is specifically accused of disability discrimination, creating a hostile work environment, sexual harassment, and failing to stop said issues. Her touring company, Big Girl Big Touring Inc., is also named as a defendant. Now, here we have one of the plaintiffs, Ariana Davis. Uh, in one instance noted in the lawsuit, Davis soiled her pants during an intense rehearsal because she was so fearful she'd lose her job. Oh, Lord. Then here we have another one. Crystal Williams. And here we have the last one, Noel Rodriguez. Now, I'm just going to kind of go out on a limb here, but isn't it a little racist to be making two black women eat bananas out of a woman's coochie? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering if that is racist, because it kind of seems like it. It just seems like it's a little on the nose. But I digress. Inside the Amsterdam strip joint, Lizzo allegedly turned her attention to Miss Davis and began pressuring Miss Davis to touch the breast of one of the nude women. Davis refused multiple times while the pop star allegedly chanted louder and louder to encourage her to do the act. The lawsuit claimed Davis eventually did touch the performer. Now, that's abuse. That's abuse. It's grooming. Plaintiffs were angst with how little regard Lizzo showed for the body autonomy of her employees and those around her, especially in the presence of many people whom she employed, the filing read. In another instance, the plaintiffs claim Lizzo invited the dancers to a club in Paris, but failed to mention that it was a nude cabaret bar. This shocked the dancers, who said Lizzo robbed them of their choice not to participate, the suit said. Lizzo also allegedly made a claim the dancers were drinking before performances, which she then spoke out about. The pop star allegedly made the group go through an excruciating 12-hour rehearsal. Williams lost her job days after that, the lawsuit claimed. Davis, meanwhile, soiled her pants during the intense rehearsal because she was so fearful she'd lose her job, the documents state. She was then handed a see-through outfit with no undergarments to finish the performance, the suit said. Man, that's horrible. Rodriguez complained to a manager about the decision to publicly fire Williams after Lizzo had told the group she had eyes and ears everywhere. Davis recorded the meeting on April 27th because she claims she suffers from an eye condition that leaves her disoriented. But as a result, Lizzo held a meeting and had security confiscate dancers' phones, the lawsuit claimed. Lizzo became furious, hurling explicitives at the group, and stated that she was going to go around the room, person by person, until someone told Lizzo who made the recordings, the filing contended. When Davis tried to tell Lizzo and Quigley she meant no harm recording the meeting, they berated her and Lizzo fired her on the spot, the suit said. Rodriguez then expressed how she felt disrespected and threatened to resign, to which Lizzo said she was lucky. When Rodriguez did indeed quit, Lizzo showed her two middle fingers and yelled a slur at her, the lawsuit claimed. Lizzo has yet to respond to the lawsuit. So, that's part one of this saga. This was, when did this come out? August 1st. And, well, like I said, this is just, it's highly disturbing. I'm not surprised by her behavior, by these allegations. You know, when we saw her, you know, essentially, in a thong at a basketball game, just twerking on the court in front of, you know, families and children, I knew then, I was like, this is not right. Not right at all. I see we got some people in the live stream. Please, please hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. But this is just, very disappointing. But I'm not surprised because, like I said, with all, the way she, she pretty much runs her Instagram account, like an Instagram thought. Just one of the BBW Instagram thoughts, just half naked photos of her and all this stuff, and it's like, for what? What are you gaining from that? And now we're finding out that to the outside world, she's all about body positivity. She's all about being your true self, expressing yourself, all that fun jazz. And then it turns out that she clearly doesn't even stand the sight of obese women in her own group. And yet here she is behaving, and here she is obese. And I think this is something that's not really surprising to me, because there's a weird thing with like big black girls and just bullying other black girls for their weight, just bullying other people. And I've seen this before. I've experienced it. I've seen it, and it's a weird thing that like a weird little thing in the black community where you have black women who are overweight, who are just talking shit about overweight women, and it's just weird. All of that kind of stuff is the hypocrisy of it is not lost on me, and I think that's what is really kind of funny about this whole thing, is that we're finding out that Lizzo is the biggest hypocrite of the whole body positivity movement. So let's get into Article 2. Okay. Lizzo lawsuit. Singer at center of more allegations after Banana Sex Act. Accusations as director Sophia Nahil Allison says abuse of power forced her to quit, and another dancer speaks out. So I think this is now that you've had these three dancers speak out, and now we're gonna have another woman speaking out. I think this isn't gonna be the end of it. I think we're gonna be seeing more dancers, more stuff coming out about the way Lizzo is behind closed doors. Just hours after singer Lizzo was sued by three of her former backup dancers, accusing her of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment, another dancer and a director are leveling similar accusations. The 35-year-old singer was sued by her ex-dancers Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez, claiming she made them perform sex acts with a banana and that she weight shames all of her dancers privately while putting out a public image of body positivity. After the lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles on Tuesday, two more women came forward with similar claims: dancer Courtney Hollenquest and director Sophia Nahil Allison. Hollenquest was a former backup dancer for the singer who took to her Instagram story to share an NBC News headline about the lawsuit before shedding some light on her own experience. For clarification, I'm not part of the lawsuit, but this is very much my experience in my time there. So here's the dancer. No, that's the director. Big shout out to the dancers who had the courage to bring this to light, she added with a black prayer and hand emoji and black hand heart emoji. Quinn Wilson, who previously worked as Lizzo's creative director, also shared Holland Quest's Instagram story and added her own insight. Echoing what Quest said, I haven't been part of that world for around 3 years for a reason, Wilson said in her own caption. I very much applaud the dancers' courage to bring this to light, and I grieve parts of my own experience. I'd appreciate space to understand my feelings, Wilson concluded. Holland Quest added in her own caption, my sister forever, only a few knew what we've been through, love you, Quinn. Holland Quest added another Instagram story post. To know me is to know I love community, and that my forever mission is to create safe spaces, especially for the whole acronym females. So many, with the amount of acronyms that have been made over the past 3 years, you would think all of these people are primed to join the military. Yeah. They want to institute a draft. Let's go see if you get the alphabet community to fight your wars. This remains my purpose, whether I'm dancing, creating TV, or throwing events, and has only strengthened through my experiences, good and bad, she continued. Thankful for the people who have trusted me this far and know the ethos will never change, only grow, she added, giving a shout out to Bale World and Fried Plantains for allowing me the platform to do just that. I think a bit on the nose, but okay. Allison began that she does not normally comment on anything pop culture related, though she shared that in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. To know me is to know we saw all of that. All right, but in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. I was not protected and was thrown into a poopy situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you effing can, and I'm so grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and was deeply hurt, but I've healed. Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was. The kind of abuse of power happens far too often. Much love and support to the dancers. So I'm going to speculate that this might be the film director. Now, I've only heard a couple of Lizzo songs. And one thing that was funny, which I actually agreed with, was when Howard Stern accused her of only making music for white women. Because most of the people that I ever heard praising Lizzo's music actually was mostly white women. And if you look here at this this photo of one of Lizzo's concerts, and just take a second and just look at the crowd. Look at the lineup of the crowd right here. I don't think there is. I think there's safe to say that you could almost make a strong case regarding Lizzo's music and how it might seem to target mostly white women and gay white men, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think Howard Stern, makes a fair point about that. And I was listening to Hotep's Been Told You last night, and even they made that reference. I think it was Uncle Hotep was like, yeah, she seems to kind of make music for white women. And, I've made the same kind of arguments about, Drake and his music. His music is beta music. It's, so, it's beta music. It's just like the friend zone music. I mean, I can't, personally, I don't vibe with Drake, but that's just, there are people who gravitate towards certain artists and content creators, whatever you have. But it was funny when he called her out on it, and she kind of stumbled about it because she didn't agree with it. But it's like, you could even see in the crowd up here on top. I mean, it's pretty much mostly white people. So I just think also it's kind of interesting where her body, her most of her dance crew, it seems like, and I've seen clips of the her Amazon show where she was looking for big dancers, and it was mostly big women of color, whether it was Latinos or black women. I didn't see a lot of white women who were auditioning for her dancing. But there is some weird, there is a weirdness going on in terms of the record business and things like that, where they do push certain narratives, certain types of people. I mean, there have been several rappers who have recently come out talking about how record labels will create fake beef, create fake drama, to pull in record sales, to get, advertising, to get people talking. And I think, Lizzo is no different than that. She claimed that she's not the face of body positivity, but all we see you doing is just showing your body and saying how beautiful your body is and how every big girl's body is beautiful. Your whole thing is called Big Girls Tour. Everything's big girl, big girl. Like, this is what you are, so you have to own it. Like anybody who if you call yourself a certain thing, you're gonna have to own it, especially when people kind of call you out on it. All right, so we read what she said. She walked away, all of that, because of how she was treated by Lizzo. All right, the original lawsuit accuses Lizzo of allegedly inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers inside an Amsterdam strip club. She allegedly encouraged catching dildos launched from the performers' coochies and eating bananas protruding from the performers' coochies. Ron Zambrano, the woman's lawyer, said in the lawsuit, revealed first by NBC News, the stunning nature of how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers seems to go against everything Lizzo stands for publicly. While privately, she weight shames her dancers and demeans them in ways that are not only illegal and absolutely demoralizing. We got that. Lizzo was not only named in the case, which was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. Not a very flattering photo. All right. Yeah, this whole idea of fat shaming, yet, look at all of her dancers. And they're all, this is so crazy. Her dance captain, Shirley Quigley, is also facing a slew of accusations. Quigley, according to the lawsuit, shared lewd sexual fantasies and publicly discussed the virginity of one of the plaintiffs while berating those who had premarital sex. The complaints for all damages include hostile work environment, sexual harassment, religious harassment, racial harassment, disability discrimination, and failure to prevent or remedy the harassment. Now, I'm assuming that the disability discrimination would coincide with the women being obese. Oh, man. Some of this stuff just makes my brain hurt. It just makes my brain hurt. Yeah, this is just crazy. And it's going to be like, what's great about all of this is going to be seeing how quick people go to defend her. How quick people are going to take her side and try to downplay her behavior or even try to normalize it as if her behavior and the way she was acting was completely justifiable, which it absolutely is not. I see we got some people in the live stream. Please hit that like button and leave a thumbs up in the chat if you are enjoying the show so far, as it is greatly appreciated. All right. It's just crazy to me. And I'm gonna play you something. I'm gonna play you guys something so you guys can understand this woman's behavior.
It was really they kissed. They kissed after. I'm not gonna say what she did, but I'm trying to go to the show where you eat the banana out the pussy. Which one is that?
This is a banana bar.
Well, that's the banana bar.
Yeah, you
and they have the banana in the coochie
and ping pong balls.
and you have to go.
Yes. And
That's what I want to do.
Then you have to eat it.
I need my potassium, if you know what I'm saying. My potassium.
Oh, professional.
It was really. They kissed.
So yeah, that's not a good look for her. That is not a good look for her. And this is what I'm saying. Like I feel like there is a plethora of footage out there that is not going to be in her favor in regards to this whole story and the allegations that she is currently facing. But there has been an update, and let's get to the update. All right. Attorney for Lizzo's 3 backup dancers who accused her of sexual harassment and bullying says more people have called him with claims about the star. Behind closed doors, this is the way Lizzo is. Now, as more accusations, as more people start coming forward, this is safe to say that you haven't heard anything yet from Disney, because she had a major part in The Mandalorian. But I really think you're going to start seeing brands who are all about Lizzo are going to start dropping her. I mean, what was it? There was a Beyonce concert. And I saw online that apparently some song that she was singing, Lizzo's name she's supposed to sing Lizzo's name, and she did not say Lizzo's name during the performance of that song. And this was right around the same time that the lawsuit and the allegations are breaking about Lizzo. So to me, it makes me wonder, was Beyonce already aware of how Lizzo behaved? Or knew that this was going to be dropping and was, getting ahead of the storm? Because you're going to start seeing, and it's going to be shameful and disgusting, but you're going to see fans, supporters of Lizzo, that are going to come out and attack these dancers, and attack that director. They're going to go after them. They're going to harass them. All of that stuff. And it's going to be this is going to be very interesting to see how this whole situation plays out. And I honestly hope that this trial, this whole thing goes to public trial, so also the public court of opinion can also weigh in on this. They're so hell bent on canceling people before even giving them a moment of respite. But if we start jumping on the gun and canceling Lizzo, they're going to start calling us, whatever, racist, fat shamers, all this other BS. But it just shows the hypocrisy of the, of the Marxist left and their whole ideology. But I digress. The attorney, hold on. This article was by Joe Hitchison from Daily Mail. The attorney for Lizzo's sexual harassment and bullying accusers has said more people have called him with claims about the star. Lawyer Ron Zambrano is currently representing 3 backup dancers who have accused the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. The 35-year-old pop star and real name Melissa Vivian Jefferson faces the legal battle after they allege she commented on their weight and pressured one to touch a nude performer in a strip club. Zambrano has now said that more people have since come forward, telling News Nation, now that this is out, the cat is out of the bag. People are coming forward and going, you know what? I went through that. There's people calling my office going, you know what? Behind closed doors, this is how Lizzo is. The plaintiffs in the suit are named as Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez. And, you think about it. How many of these type of situations, whether it was one of the Como brothers or so many of these people, whether it was Weinstein, whatever. I guess not really. Yeah, R. Kelly, whoever it is. Eventually, when people have the courage to come forward and speak out, then the domino effect happens. And, I'm not trying to compare this to the Me Too movement, because we know after the whole situation with Amber Heard that the Me Too movement was one big op. But what I'm saying here is that, you're going to see them try to make her the victim, Lizzo, because she's black, because she's overweight, because people have always wanted to hate her, because the right don't like her because of the body positivity, all that BS. When it really is, she's not a good person. She's not a good human being from what we're understanding. I wouldn't consider this a good person, treating people like this. Not only is she, sexually abusing them, harassing them, fat shaming them, ironically, and all, and I would assume, and I personally feel that the whole banana situation is pretty effing racist as well. If you think about it, you're having 2 black women eating bananas out of coochies out of European women. That's something that you would see would be in the Boondocks as an episode, not literally being played out, or in South Park. Okay, Chris Como, which is ironic because I just said his name, also referred to a video obtained by TMZ. So, showing Ariana Davis saying that working with Lizzo has been amazing and such a beautiful journey. Davis also said, I look up to her so much, I just want to follow in her footsteps. Cuomo fires back at Zambrano saying she doesn't seem harassed. Zambrano explained that was done before most of the allegations in the complaint. That was an audition tape to get on the 2nd season of the show on Amazon. Nothing happened that was in the complaint before that video was done. Como also questioned whether it was more against her dance captain Shirley Quigley. The presenter said, it is really about the dance captain, not Lizzo, and you are throwing Lizzo in there because she's the big name and that's why you get a settlement. Zambrano hit back. Lizzo is one of the people who absolutely fostered this sexual harassment environment. She allowed this environment to exist. Her statement today talks about her being very sexual person, basically saying if you want to be around me, you have to deal with it. And we know that that's clearly the case when we just saw that video of her essentially just, talking about how badly she wants to do all of that. I mean, we it's no surprise that she's a very sexual person. I mean, look at the way she behaves. Look at the way she conducts herself publicly. I mean, on social media, no one's shocked or surprised that she's a very sexual person. I mean, half the time she's either naked or dancing or eating something. I don't know what else we need to say about this. We know how she acts. And like I said, we're going to see the mainstream media, the narrative, try to paint these dancers as victims because, they said they looked up to Lizzo and they wanted to hang out with her. I mean, there's nothing new about that. How many times have we seen situations where people are excited to go work for somebody and then, they are treated to a horrible experience, sometimes life-threatening experience. But, it's no surprise that Cuomo would be, downplaying things like this. So we can't be surprised by the Cuomos. We know how they operate. But you're not supposed to deal with it in a workplace, and that is the problem. The suit accuses the singer of inviting cast members to take turns touching nude performers inside the Amsterdam strip club. We already kind of covered that. We don't really need to repeat all of that. So there's Chris Cuomo, and there's the lawyer. Cuomo on the left, the lawyer on the right. The same unflattering photo. Her dance captain, Shirley Quigley, is also facing a slew of accusations. Williams and David both appeared in a recent Amazon Prime reality show, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, about the singer's quest to find backup dancers. Quigley, according to the lawsuit, shared lewd sexual fantasies and publicly, yep, we got all of that. I just don't feel like I don't need to rehash all the same stuff. Yep, we covered that. Okay, here we go. On Thursday, the pop star dismissed the lawsuit against her as unbelievable, outrageous, as she broke her silence. Lizzo wrote in a statement, "The last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed." Okay, so here we go. The last few days have been, okay, yeah, we got that. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate, unprofessional. I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I am not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be the last few days. I am very open with my sexuality, we know that, and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. There is nothing I take more seriously than the respect we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. Okay. I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. I want to thank everyone who has reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. I was listening to Holt Has Been Told You the other night, and Uncle Hotep made a joke saying that Lizzo's response was probably written by ChatGTP. But even this here was very weird. What she said, I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. All right, it's a little weird to put, but okay. All right. Yeah, hours after the lawsuit was made, we had the other director, we had more dancers. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting story. Because I'm all about consistency in patterns, and when I see a consistency in a pattern, that tells me that something's going on here. That tells me that there is obviously something to this case. Now, I do believe in, the whole, the innocent until proven guilty. It would be foolish for me not to say that. But I mean, the whole false imprisonment, that's a serious accusation. That's a serious offense. Holding someone against their will. The sexual harassment. I mean, that is serious. Some of these things are very serious. And as I played you that video of of Lizzo on that Amsterdam talk show, talking about wanting to do that. I don't think she, realizes that this whole, being free with my body and open and sexual is going to come back and bite her. And it's not going to go well for her. And you're going to see, and I really do think you're going to see a civil war within this community, within this Marxist positive community, as they grapple with this whole situation. And, it's just another distraction, another thing to keep our minds busy with nonsense as the real stuff goes on around us. But I find this whole situation fascinating. I do find it unfortunate. I find it sad. But I also do kind of find it a bit funny because of the irony around who Lizzo is and the type of lifestyle she likes to advocate for. And now that said lifestyle is now being found out as being possibly a lie. And I think for many of us out there, who are struggling with our weight, trying to stay fit, trying to stay healthy, with everything that's been going on in the world, she has added, a lot of unnecessary, just negative energy into the world with, advocating for a unhealthy lifestyle and advocating for having a very promiscuous lifestyle. And, it's sad and it's disappointing. And it's not lost on me that how ironic that they would, use a black woman to push this whole body positivity. And then, we end up finding out, she's just a bully and fat shames and is a, sexual abuser. And this is the music industry. This is Hollywood. There are countless stories of these kind of events and situations happening. And I think for a lot of us, and even for, I think for a lot of us, but not even for, I wasn't really surprised, but I think for many people out there, they're kind of surprised that it's Lizzo of all people who'd be behaving like this. And I'm over here like, I'm not surprised. Look how she publicly behaves in regards to society and what she advocates for. I mean, it's no surprise. And I hope that, more people who become aware of this story, of her music, of what she's been advocating for, kind of take a step back and kind of reevaluate what they themselves have been advocating for, and really wonder, is the type of things I'm advocating for, which I stand for, my belief system, is it something that's healthy? Is it something that can improve my way of life, evolve my way of thinking and who I am as an individual? Or will it, keep me stagnant, keep me filled with hatred and insecurities and jealousy and the false reality? And that is something that you see with Lizzo and what she, advocates for, the false reality. This narrative that, being unhealthy is natural and it's okay. To be overweight is beautiful and healthy. And that is not the case. And we have to see these things for what they are. Movements to dumb down the American people, to make the American people less healthy, to have their belief systems become poisoned with ideology that completely goes against what it means to be human, what it means to be an individual. And you're seeing that with the way Lizzo is behaving, with the way Lizzo has been acting. And I hope that people out there really start, like I said, taking a second look and reevaluating their own belief systems and reevaluating the type of music and influencers and people that they look up to and advocate for and believe, because you really got to take some time and really invest in those things. And I know we don't all have that time, and I know right now things are wild and overwhelming, but it's more for your own mental well-being and being able to maintain that emotional and mental balance. Because people who advocate for the ideologues that Lizzo and many other people aspire for and are trying to promote, they're not healthy people, mentally, physically, and it's very apparent. And I just hope people out there really look at this as a lesson to be learned on just the dangers of the music industry, the Hollywood industry, and to be careful of the type of music you're ingesting, the type of people you believe in. It's just unfortunate. It's disgusting. It's degenerate. But that seems to be the culture war that we are dealing with right now, among many others. But recently, there was some leaked footage of Lizzo's rehearsal, and we're gonna play it for you right now.
You, Abby.
You're finished. Next. No, you're not gonna run in there and cry boo-hoo-hoo. I've had it. Why can't your smart kid do it in the bedroom? Why can't she stretch on her own?
You know what, Abby? You know that.
I wasn't put on this earth to make your kid feel good. Stop acting like a baby. You're 16 years old, and everybody's watching you cry. Your kid would rather be with any other mother here than with you.
Stand here and let you talk to my child like that.
Back off, bitch.
You called me a bitch in front of my daughter.
She needs to know what she's living with. You don't need to be here on the pyramid. You don't need to be here at all.
She deserves to be on the pyramid.
She deserves nothing. You can't stand here and cry.
Well, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry.
Get out.
And that was some leaked footage of behind the scenes. So, yeah, this whole thing with Lizzo is ridiculous. Did you guys see that? Maybe you didn't see that. Hold on. I don't think you guys saw it. Let me pull it up again.
Ladies.
Done.
You, Abby.
You're finished. Next. No, you're not gonna run in there and cry boo-hoo-hoo. I've had it. Why
not
can't
true,
your
ladies.
smart kid do it in the bedroom? Why can't she stretch on her own?
You know what, Abby? You know that.
I wasn't put on this earth to make your kid feel good. Stop acting like a baby. You're 16 years old, and everybody's watching you cry. Your kid would rather be with any other mother here than with you.
Stand here and let you talk to my child like that.
Back off, bitch.
You called me a bitch in front of my daughter.
She needs to know what she's living with. You don't need to be here on the pyramid. You don't need to be here at all.
She deserves to be on the pyramid.
She deserves nothing. You can't stand here and cry.
Well, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry.
Get out.
So, yeah, that is what we can imagine behind the scenes at Lizzo's rehearsal shows were like. And yeah, there's some hilarious memes and videos going on about Lizzo right now on Twitter. But yeah, this is just a very unfortunate and sad situation to be going on. And I say sad because I feel bad for the dancers, the women who, you know, thought that they'd have an opportunity to, you know, grow their careers, you know, network, whatever it may be. And, you know, this is what they're kind of dealing with. And like I said, you know, it's no surprise, and it's going to be interesting watching, you know, her supporters, her fans, mainstream media, you know, demonize, attack, and harass these dancers. It's going to be really interesting to see that. And you know, we're no stranger to the left and them normalizing and supporting really abusive and abhorrent behavior. So there's no surprise to that. But this is a very interesting situation. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out in the end. And yeah, we're looking at the rise and fall of Lizzo. And 8 years, she had a good run. I think it was around 8 years, something like that. And she did good until she decided to turn into an abuser. But as I've said before, this is nothing new of these entertainment elites. Not all of them are bad people. I'd be foolish to say that, or I'd be wrong to not say that, but, you know, this is unfortunate. It seems like, you know, with this situation with Lizzo, how many more people will come forward about her, but how many more other revelations about other industry artists right now are we going to hear about? You know, if you take a chance and after this, take a listen to my last time when I covered, you know, ancient Mesopotamian magic, and I was talking about the current trial going on with that rapper and having one of his guys and his entourage sacrificing human goats for him. So, you know, we're going to start hearing a lot more revelations about a lot of these industry elites and artists. And it's going to be very interesting to see the revelations that come out and how people react to them. And I just hope that, you know, people out there who are of freedom of thought, of freedom of individuality. Go out there and tell other people, hey, take a second and really, reevaluate the type of people you're admiring, the type of music you're listening to, who they are as individuals, because I really believe that when you're listening to music or whatever it is, and the people who are making that type of content, if they aren't healthy individuals, if they aren't doing things that are healthy for themselves and for their listeners and for their followers and their family, I mean, it's going to affect you. That's why I'm not a big fan. I try not to watch a lot of the, reactionary content or content where they're just being mean for the sake of being mean because they don't like a certain individual. I think that kind of stuff isn't right. And I think, with this thing with Lizzo, it's going to make a lot of people question who they are as individuals as well, especially if you're a woman who's overweight and you love Lizzo, but now you're hearing all of this, you're going to start having issues with your own self. Wait a minute, this woman who is a big girl who became very famous and popular, and she supports, big women like myself, but now I'm finding out that she abuses big women and fat shames. How am I supposed to deal with my own insecurities? How am I supposed to now address the beauty that I have for myself? And that's the unfortunate side effect that we're going to see with this situation with Lizzo and many of these content creators and artists and actors, what have you, when, they're not authentic. We are living in a time where authenticity is a dying breed. We don't have authentic individuals that much anymore in our society, whether it's men or women. I mean, we're struggling with that. Even in the dating pool, men and women are dealing with finding authentic individuals, especially for men. What I'm saying here as I wrap things up is that we need to really be more mindful and aware of the type of individuals and the content that we ingest. Is it coming from people who are, authentic, who are self-aware, who hold themselves accountable, who admit when they make mistakes, who communicate to their fan base or their employees, as humans with respect and dignity and assertiveness if needed? These are all things that are crucial in the art of living and being the best version of yourself and being, a good human being. And that's the greatest thing we can be. And with individuals like Lizzo and this type of behavior, it makes it that much harder for good people to be seen, for good artists to be heard, for good performers to be known, because we have so much of these inauthentic people, these fake authentic people who are leading and paving ways for movements that they have no business being a part of, and they have no business co-opting or, bastardizing with their own ideological drivel and nonsense and unethical behavior and immoral actions and words and thoughts. So, I hope that people, look at this situation with Lizzo and take it as a lesson learned on how to actually be a good human being and how to treat those who look up to you and those who work around you and support you and inspire you, how you're supposed to truly treat them and support them. Because we're all in this together. We're all human. And if we don't take time to really acknowledge one another as who we are in our totality, then we're going to end up living in the false reality. Then we're going to end up becoming domesticated by our belief system. And we're going to end up like people like Lizzo. Many of these people out here who are now becoming consumed by the movements that they have corrupted and created for themselves. And, that is just the reality of the situation. I deal in the essential reality. I pride myself on being an essential realist. But we are living in a world and engaging with individuals who live in the false reality. And we see how detrimental it is to their mental health and their physical well-being. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Ronin. All things, everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that like button. And make sure to subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, ring that notification bell. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true.